on a national tour.
Got it.
Okay, so I'm pleased and delighted to have musician and vinyl collector Dereck Higgins with me today for a second time. A couple of years ago, we had a great conversation about his vast history in music and art. Fast forward to today, I wanted to touch base with him again, talk about any of his upcoming 2023 projects and notable 2022 album releases.
Sure.
And finally, the current state of art and culture and music,
Yeah.
you know, as we know it, as we're about to leave 2022. How you doing, Dereck?
I'm doing pretty good. I just I'm getting up from a nap here. You know, I'm at that age where it's like, depending on what's going on, I have to have that old man nap. You know what I'm saying?
Hey man, I'll be 50 next year, and I'll definitely take my little naps, try to squeeze them in. You know,
I heard that
for sure. You know,
50 sounds wonderful. Yeah, you know, 68, going on 68 next year.
hey, I can only pray to get to your stature and level in life. You know, especially as an African American male, I hope that my health, number one, supersedes all, and I get to that point. You know?
I receive the blessings. I do.
Yeah.
So I just have to ask right quick: is that your TV behind you or an aquarium?
No, that's a TV. That's
okay.
a TV. Okay. I was checking out the Gibson series on YouTube earlier. I don't know if you've seen any of those with like
no,
Jerry Cantrell and Dave Mustaine.
Oh, the Gibson series. Yes, I have watched all. I've watched them all. I have.
And there's a new one with Rex from Pantera, and I'm like a huge Pantera fan. And
I just watched that one.
Really good. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I absorb. People who watch me be asking me, "What about this? What this?" Y'all don't realize I'm checking everything out. It's just.
I know you are. Yeah.
That's my nature. I'm checking everything out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey man, you're looking sharp tonight. I like that shirt.
Oh, thanks, man. Thanks, man. You know, I got my little Mars Volta shirt on. I just got to see them live about a month ago for the first time, and in 20 years, the first time I've ever seen it. But we'll get to that a little bit later.
Okay.
So first of all, you know, I wanted to congratulate you on the interviews and the interesting conversations that you showcased on your YouTube channel. You know, the Richard Barbieri, the Gary Green from Gentle Giant, and also Ronnie Beck from the legendary Tower of Power, amongst others. What was the spark or inclination that inspired you to reach out to those specific artists?
Well, I think Charles Hayward, you know, he befriended me years ago, and we would go back and forth about social issues, you know, that we vibed on. And it just kind of, that was the original seed in my mind, where it's like, well, Charles Hayward is someone that I know that has an interesting background and quite a history, that it may be fun to get onto my channel. And but the idea really was about talking to people who I've befriended, who I find truly interesting and kind of inspiring. And one thing just kind of led to another, as far as like Gentle Giant was offered to me through someone that had a connection who watches me, and it's like, yeah, I like that, you know. And so that's kind of how it started.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I actually learned about Gentle Giant through you, watching your presentations, and they're a really great band, man. A lot of history behind them.
One of the greatest bands. They really are one of the greatest. They are.
Yeah. So any other musicians in the future you wanted to talk to? Anybody on your list?
Yes. Well, I do have, I'm waiting for Dave Newhouse of the band The Muffins. Now, you probably seen me talk about this band a lot.
Yes, I have.
Yeah. And they really are something of an American, I just think they're an important American band. And I played with him on some of his recordings. He's agreed. I'm just waiting for him to get back to me when. Some other folks have been offered to me, and Annie Haslam of Renaissance is one that I'm curious about following up on. Gary Green is like a friend now. He said, you know, well, let's do it again. So I'll be talking to him again. Richard Barbieri, the same thing. We had contact afterwards. It's like, wow, And beyond that, I'm not really pursuing anything so much as if someone of interest, if there's an opportunity, I'll go for it. Honestly, Richard Barbieri is one of the people I've been wanting to talk to the most besides Ryuichi Sakamoto.
And he was in the band Japan, right?
Yes.
Wow,
He's a
incredible.
pioneer. People don't understand how he really changed the game of how the synthesizer is used in rock music. He really is.
Awesome, man. Yeah, and just to let you know, dude, since I talked to you last, which was probably post-COVID or maybe during COVID, I have another project called Stage Press, and me and my partner, we kind of capture and interview artists either before they go on stage or after they go on stage.
Oh, okay.
So it's like short excerpts, interviews. Yeah. And at this point, I got about 9 or 10 in there. I got Angelo Moore from Fishbone.
Okay, I have to check this out. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, Norwood, the bass player from Fishbone. This trumpet player, Kenyon Harold. I don't know if you ever heard of him, but
yes,
he was on the Miles Ahead soundtrack.
Yes.
He played all the trumpet on there.
Yes.
So we got him and DJ Newmark from Jurassic 5. So we got a few in there, so things have been going good on that front for me.
What's it like for you? What's it like for you to connect with these people?
It's great because, people like Norwood from Fishbone and Angelo, these are like my heroes. You know what I mean? I've been listening to them ever since the 80s.
Yeah.
And so it's very gratifying, very humbling, I target people like that because, I want to just make sure that as far as like Black rock and roll or punk artists or ska artists, like people like HR and Vernon Reid and people of that nature, and Jimmy Hazel from 24/7 Spies, or have, a certain light that they're not forgotten about 50 years from now, and the history is not rewritten, so just wanted to play my part and my personal part in that,
Well, I like that, and I'll also share this with you that if any of those folks, would have an interest in connecting with me, I definitely have a perspective regarding Black music where I know I could have some wonderful conversations with any of those people. So if they want to hook up, or you want to send them my way, I'd love to talk to any of those cats.
Oh, absolutely, dude. So I've been checking out your latest album, released Interlude. Was there any specific frame of mind or tone that you attempted to set for the project and while you're in the creative process?
Well, I am so happy that this Interlude set of music has kind of dropped into people's laps in the way that it has is because I got to be honest, okay? So I'm finalizing the tracks for this album that's going to come out next year through FPE Records. But this is stuff that I started back in 2021, okay? And it's like, there's also a new piece from 2022. But what I'm saying is, as I've been crafting and really working on these tracks over the months of 2022, I kind of was thinking I really hadn't done too much new. And the thing that prompted me to look back at my files is Bandcamp Friday. At the last couple, I've noticed that, the Bandcamp Fridays, if you have something new to present people, they just jump on it. And so what I did was I looked through my files of 2022 to see if I had anything. And I was surprised at how much I had. Some of it's not quite finished, but it's finished enough to present, plus a couple of older ambient pieces that I had not uploaded before. And so really it's just an example of what I do, of my world, because it's there's really no one particular focus when I'm making music except for the piece in front of me. And it could be something with a beat, it could be something kind of ambient, it could be something sound oriented. It all depends on what gets me going.
Yeah, cool. Definitely interesting soundscapes and ideas. And, to piggyback on that, this was a while ago. This is in June of 2021, but the Modular synth improvisations video you did.
Yes.
Was this your first time experimenting with that soundboard? And it seems like it would take many years to get acclimated to such a big structure. What was that experience like?
It was wonderful. Aaron Gum is a good friend of mine, and he himself is quite the wizard. And so I've only had a few sessions with him where I could, where he would show me and kind of instruct me on the different mods, and just getting an understanding of how how and why you patch things. And so that was really an experiment on camera. We had a few run-throughs, but nothing that we had written. And so I love synthesizer. So that was a wonderful experience. We've talked about doing it again, and it probably will happen again sometime. Yeah.
This location is somewhere in Nebraska, right? In Omaha.
Yeah, he's a friend of mine, actually.
Uh-huh.
He's in the hood. He's here in the hood. My friend Aaron, if you saw the video, the guy with the long frizzy hair.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
When I first met Aaron, he didn't know he's Black.
Oh, wow.
Yes, but it's my life has been very interesting, and I know I'm not sharing too much about Aaron, but his biological father wasn't around to raise him.
Mm-hmm.
And then his half sister, it turns out, was looking for him. And this was several years back, but Aaron and I were playing together. Turns out when his sister found Aaron, I knew his dad. I said, Aaron, you're Black. And he said he did not know that he was of African American, half, third, whatever,
Interesting.
He's a great guy. He's a wizard. He's a very smart man.
Yeah, to manage something of that magnitude, you'd have to be at a high intelligence level.
No, he really knows.
Does he have music or any type of pieces, or does he work with any musicians?
He has a brand new thing called Glow in the Dark, and that's his project. Actually, he has a brand new CD. I haven't gotten a copy of it yet, and I've been telling him to just get it to me so I can review it. But yeah, that's what he does. Glow in the Dark.
Okay, so I see that that your band RAF did a show with Agent Orange the past year. How was that experience, and did it bring back any memories? And did you guys ever play together years ago back in the 80s?
Yeah, this was our second show with them, and I really miss RAF. So number one, our drummer moved to Phoenix, so he flew back in for that show. It's not that the band is broken up, but it's like, how things go. And so his whole idea is that if there's a big enough show for me to come back to Omaha, I'll come for it. But RAF is like this gang that I've been a member of for like 36, 37 years. We have in common this music that we do. It's not like I hang out with these guys, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But when we play music, it's explosive. And so we had a great night with Agent Orange. And did you see my interview with Perry from the band?
Oh yeah, yes, I did see that.
Okay, because again, he's become a friend and was a friend beforehand. But RAF, we play hard, and we're really not a punk band. We're a hard driving, aggressive band with punk roots. And so we really gave them a run for the money, because that's what we like to do. We like to kick bands' ass. It's like, you better bring your A game if you're going to play after us. And so it was a great night.
I definitely hear some remnants of like Cro-Mags.
I played with we played with Cro-Mags.
Oh yeah, back in the day.
Yeah, it was a great night too.
I bet.
Yeah,
those guys are legends in New York
City. Dead Kennedys is another legendary show we played back in the day.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Didn't the drummer pass away recently?
Yeah, Peligro. And that was special because again of the Black thing. It's like this was back in the 80s, and so when we show up, to set up, he was like almost like I knew him. It's like, yes, another Black person, and we were the only Black people in the building except for the security.
Right, I believe.
Now this is Omaha. You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly. Yeah. You're getting some, fans that are from all types of backgrounds.
All types.
Aryan Nation people, all types of people.
Yes. See, that's one of the things where I know I would have some interesting questions and common experiences to share with, like the guys from like Fishbone, for example, or if I could talk to those guys, you know?
Yeah, yeah, because they've had those experiences over the years, and they've just been through run the gamut of just feeling inadequate in certain situations in different countries and different environments, and
Man,
they just,
the stuff that you go through, I'm telling you, when I've been out on the road and when I've done shows with white people, it's been one thing. Then when I've gone back to look for shows with just my black ass, it was a whole nother story almost every time.
Right. I hear you, man.
Crazy.
So have you by any chance seen the Ron Carter documentary on PBS, the bass player?
Well, I know Ron Carter, and I didn't realize that PBS did it, so I'll look for it online because that should be probably pretty quality. I've watched several interviews with Ron Carter. He's someone I would love to meet,
Yeah, and a living legend, right? He's still alive.
Beyond.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like a foundation of music in the world, not just America. When you talk about jazz, you cannot escape Ron Carter.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And he's really astute. That's the thing I noticed. What were you going to say about him?
No, I just thought that you might have saw the documentary. It was pretty in depth. It was really good. Ran the gamut of his whole career and things and all the different projects he's done and things. That's why I was just thinking you might have came across it.
Yeah, I'll look it up. Thanks, because I'm not TV oriented, so I don't watch the TV. I catch things through the internet, and I truly am a music junkie and also an art nerd.
Yeah.
I really don't watch too much TV.
Well, okay. Hey, we have other outlets, right?
No doubt.
In regards to what were you going to say? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to because it's just in me. I can't help but asking questions. But Michael, I can't remember. Are you involved in a musical project? And if so, what's going on with that?
Oh no, I'm not involved in any musical project. The only thing that I'm involved in is the stage press thing right now. Art and music wise, but I'm not in any band currently. Unfortunately.
You look like you could be.
Yeah, definitely. My whole life, and I have friends that are in bands in the East Coast and best friends, in places like Pittsburgh, New York, Baltimore, of course, DC.
Yes.
And I've definitely have jammed with them or be a part of their stuff back in the day, but nothing out here in California, and nothing currently that I'm involved in. But I definitely am open, you know what I mean? In the future, I mean, hey, there is no number on the creativity, right? I'm always
That's
here,
right. That's right. There you go.
So George Clinton has a big installation here in California and Santa Monica where his artwork is being presented. And
nice.
I think that we're lucky to have him still in our music community. And what do you think about like artists that have art installations like him, Lee Scratch Perry, where they're kind of showcasing that alter artist inside of them?
I think it's fantastic, and I would hope that would be inspiring to other young artists, musicians who maybe weren't thinking that they could be that diverse. So I think it's wonderful, Yeah. And again, as I was saying in a recent interview, George Clinton is a bona fide genius, and so any way that his art can be propagated, that's wonderful. That's great.
Absolutely. The show was here until January, around mid-January. So I'm definitely going to try to make it over there and support and see what's going on with that for sure. So I know in your videos you've been kind of sharing the noteworthy albums of the year, including the Black Midi, the Dami and the JD Beck. I was lucky enough to see Black Midi last year too here in LA. I mean, I just really think that they are one of the best bands around right now, but as far as rock bands and in a time where we just don't really get a lot where the creativity is abundant and where it's like kind of stands out from everybody else.
They do. They do.
I do appreciate that band, and also got to see Mars Volta and Opeth and Mastodon last year, so that was a good.
I'm jealous because I love those bands. I haven't seen any of them. I missed opportunities to see Opeth, and I have friends of mine know Mastodon, but I've never got to see them. Yeah.
Oh,
Now
okay.
I'm curious about Mars Volta. are when they were young, they had that manicness. Now that's not there anymore, is it? On stage,
Well,
or at least.
yeah, you know what? Not, I mean, live it is for sure, which I was pleasant. I was surprised and I was pleased because they went back into the catalog and played
Mhm,
things from Francis the Mute and
mhm, mhm,
the
mhm,
first album and things like that. But that newest album that is out that I do have, it's very, very
mhm.
subtle, very, very
Exactly.
different, very, very
Exactly.
not
Yes.
traditional Mars Volta, like if you're a hardcore fan that you really like expect from them.
Yeah.
So when I
That's why
was
I'm wondering.
yeah, when I
Yeah.
went to the show, I was like, are they just gonna play that whole new album, just because
Hmm.
we haven't heard
Hmm.
it? But no, it
Hmm.
was not like that, dude. It was like they
Good. That's
played,
good.
like 3 hours worth of improvisational
Wow.
stuff, and they just really went
Wow.
off. It was
Wow.
sick.
That's great.
It
That's
was
great.
yeah, and that was like one of the bands that were on my list. Like when moving out to California in 2005,
Hmm.
uh, that I was like, once I get there, that I definitely got to see that band. That's
Yeah.
what
Yeah. Yeah. They're a force.
they are. Omar Rodriguez, yeah,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
crew for sure.
Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. I agree. Yeah.
So I really dig that band, the Swedish band Dungeon that you showed.
Dungen. Yeah. Dungen.
Was it Julian? Yeah, I'm sorry
Dungen.
if I
Yeah. Hmm. Hmm.
pronounced that wrongly.
Yeah. I don't have the new one yet. Do you have the new one yet? I
No,
don't have it.
I haven't heard it. No, I haven't
Yeah.
heard.
Yeah. Yeah. I need to get it. Hasn't come through Omaha. I don't like to mail order, so I'm just waiting to see if I can just get a copy of it somehow.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, definitely interesting. Cool chords, very versatile. They kind of go
It's really
from.
one person. It's one
Oh,
person.
really? It's just one
Yeah. See,
person.
well, that's how the band started. It's kind of almost like Porcupine Tree in that the several of the albums, it's the one guy playing everything, but he has the band and they play the stuff. So there's a mixture. I only have like four of their albums, and on the records, I notice there's a mixture of tracks where it's all the main guy and then the other guys. But but it's cool. He can make the sound all by himself. It's amazing.
Oh, wow, that is
Yeah,
incredible.
no
That is.
shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't have any of his vinyl or anything, but I definitely need to pick that up soon. Like that is
highly
yeah,
recommended. Highly
yeah, for
recommended.
sure. So are you on
Now,
like? Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
well, see, you get me going because I'm an
Go ahead.
interviewer too.
Go ahead.
So,
Go ahead.
what do you think? What do you think of More Mother?
Oh, More Mother. That's on my list to ask you about that. And I had when I saw that you were showing that a while ago, so I went and did my
Hmm.
research on her, and I didn't know that she's
Hmm.
actually from Maryland too. She's from the Maryland area, the scene where I'm from. But yeah,
Oh, okay.
I like her a lot, man. I like her a lot,
Holy
and
shit! I think
it
she's
just
I think
yeah.
she's cutting edge as hell. I really do. I think she's ahead of the pack, and I hope that she can make a dent because I think it's really, really some really important shit she's doing. I really do.
Yeah, and it just feels like she's kind of like deriving our ancestors through her music, you
Exactly.
know.
It's going
Uh,
deep. It's going deep.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's going deep.
appreciate it, man. Yeah,
Hmm. Hmm.
the music is good. It kind of reminds me of that Shabazz Palaces
Hmm.
project
Hmm.
with
Hmm.
Ishmael from Diggable Planets,
Yes.
and the other guys playing like the percussion, it's kind of like along
Right.
those lines,
Right.
of presentation
Right.
on the record. But
Yeah.
I do like her, and I
Yeah.
need to get that vinyl to her latest
Mm.
album for sure.
Highly
And
recommended.
thanks for bringing her back up and educating people on it because it's on the underground tip, and it just is one of those pieces that might just fly over one's heads because you're not going to
She,
hear it on mainstream radio or mainstream,
exactly.
you know.
Exactly. She's the kind of hip hop woman, and that's not what she is. But when you see what hip hop represents female wise, we need some more Mother in there.
Yeah,
Besides all the twerking and stuff, which is
right.
that's fine because that's mainstream culture. But man, we could raise the bar, and More Mother is definitely trying to raise the bar. That's what I notice.
Yeah, a female talking about some deep issues with substance,
Hmm.
and, it's so few and far between, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And especially
yeah,
African American females, we need more of that
exactly,
to like
exactly,
showcase
exactly.
a different side of who we are. We
Right,
are our black women are all not like Megan Thee Stallion and Beyonce. You know what I mean?
right,
We
right,
have
exactly,
other,
right. Right. But let me make it this
And I'm
clear,
not
Michael.
knocking those artists, you know. I'm not
Exactly.
making
Let's
it,
be
you know?
clear on that, because we're not dissing our
Right.
Black women for getting that cake. They're getting paid, and I'm real happy. But that's what they have to do to get paid. But get that money, women. You know,
Yeah.
it's just too bad that this is the landscape, and that Mor Mother is the outsider. You know what I'm saying? And she's got a voice that Black girls, well, really, I think women in general could really use.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And we just
Yeah.
want to show the versatility in our people, you know what I mean? And put more light
Yes.
in other things that we do, you know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
you know, that
Absolutely.
wasn't a knock on Beyonce or
No,
Megan.
not
It's
at
just
all.
that I just want to be able to, I would like to see other sides, you know,
Absolutely.
to have that
Absolutely.
you know, that
That's it.
focus on it. So do you collect cassettes and VHS tapes? I know this is a weird question, but
Well, I used to collect the VHS, and then I graduated to DVD, and so you know I copied over almost everything onto DVDs and gave the VHS, because my house is small and I was out of room. My cassette collection is not current, except I get cassettes from labels to review. So I have some cassettes, but I recently actually went into my back catalog of cassettes, not catalog, but stuff I have, to do some trade. And I was surprised at how much money I got from them. I said, wow, these are worth money now, I guess, you know?
Yeah, and there's like a lot of bands that are releasing that stuff on cassette, you know what I mean?
Right.
So if you have a cassette player, you know, I mean,
Yeah,
I
and
have
I
one
definitely do.
too. I
Definitely
don't,
have one.
yeah, and I don't have a VHS player though. I wish I did, because I do have some
Yeah.
VHS tapes.
Mhm.
The one VHS that I was talking about last week was Perry Farrell's Gift. Have you ever seen that movie?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
I actually recorded it off of TV when they showed it on Night Flight. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, and I wish I still had that, you know,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
yeah, it's just weird when I go to record stores and I see cassettes and see VHSs, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's just interesting. It's like, who's collecting these, you know, who's still buying these things in
Yeah. Well, you
2022,
know,
you know?
everything is cyclical. Everything goes in cycles, you know.
hmm
Everything goes in cycles, you know.
So I used to work in a record store, and I think you did 2 years ago. How was it working in a record store culture? And did you still have friends that work in record stores? Well, I'm
Well,
sure you.
I've worked in several record stores, and I was actually just reflecting how when I was still underage, I worked at one of the first Black record stores here in Omaha, but not on the counter. I was behind the counter, stocking the shelves. So that was my first record store job. And then the longest running record store in Omaha is Homer's, which has been there for over 50 years. I've worked there at least 3 different times in that time, and other record stores. I still have friends, you know, the manager, the guy who runs Homer's is a friend of mine, used to play music with him. All the record stores in Omaha, everyone knows me, you
Oh,
know, and
okay.
yeah.
Because you come all the time. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
well, Michael, if you were to come to Omaha and you could ask my sisters or anyone else who's visited with me, and we go out in public, you know, I'm pretty calm about, it's like I'm a local celebrity, okay, is what I'm
Yeah.
saying. It's
Oh, well,
like
I
I
know
go
that.
out,
I know that. Yeah,
well,
I would
I go
imagine.
out in public. Well, I go out in public, and it's like, you know, it's like everyone. It's like, do I know you? Do I know? You know, but
Yeah.
you know, and so yeah, I love record stores, and I don't get special treatment or anything, you know,
hmm
but this record store people, they want to know what I'm buying, and I'm still at the point where I'm informing them about things that, hey, are you guys going to get this? And we didn't know about, you know what I mean? Because it's just my nature, you know.
Right. You're digging deeper. You know, you're a little bit more ahead, even ahead of them, and they're
Well,
in the record store,
yeah,
you know.
but it's also regional. For example, where you're at in California, Dami and JD Beck they're probably pretty well known, right?
Well, I wouldn't say that.
Okay,
I found
okay,
out about them on YouTube, but you know, they were here, they played here live, they came through.
okay,
They came through. I didn't get to go to the show, but they came through, you know.
okay.
Um,
Because I figured the record store, that Homer's, I mean, it's like they're a thing, they're known,
Mhm.
But they didn't know about them. They didn't know about them until I told them to get Damian, for
JD
example.
Beck.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just one example,
I will say this about Dami and JD Beck. I just feel like they're like a musician's band. And
Yes.
they'll slide in some MF Doom, Mad Lib stuff
Hmm.
in their
Hmm.
stuff.
Right.
So
Right.
I don't expect them to be known by mainstream. I expect them to be known by like people like me and you, music people
Hmm.
that are in
Hmm.
bands,
Hmm.
people that
Right.
like I saw some footage of the show in LA and like Flea was in the crowd and like
Hmm.
people
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
and Thundercat was in the crowd, like people that
Right.
really,
Right.
really play. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Definitely.
You
Definitely.
artsy
That's what they're
people.
about.
That's what they're
That's what
about.
they're
Yeah.
about. Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
when I think of that band.
Hmm.
Um, so where was I going with this? Yes. The record reviews. I see. Well, I know you're on YouTube showing the vinyl, but do artists
Hmm.
send you their stuff to review?
Hmm.
And in
Yeah.
the past, have you written for publications
Yes. Yes.
as a record reviewer?
Yeah. Yeah. There was a magazine out of the West Coast called Option. Did you hear? Is this before your time? It's before your time. I'm probably Option magazine.
What years was this?
So this would be around punk. So the end of '70s, '80s,
Oh,
in the
okay.
'80s.
Yeah, yeah. My time was like late 80s going into the 90s, mid to late 80s going into the 90s.
Right. So
Yeah.
I wrote primarily for Option for several years, and I had some features with some other small fanzines. Maximum Rock and Roll, I think I did one thing with them about Omaha.
Hmm.
And then I've done radio as well locally. But yeah,
Oh, okay.
I've
So you
been,
were on the radio as a personality,
yeah,
right? Oh,
locally. I've had several shows. Ain't no money in radio.
yeah, I know that. I volunteered for this station here, KCRW, which is pretty big. They're affiliate of
Yes,
NPR.
I've been on those station. I've been on that
Yeah,
station.
and I volunteered there for 3 years, and I
Hmm.
learned a lot. But the idea is like they want you to start off as a volunteer, and then you
Right,
graduate to whatever
right,
position you could get into at the station. But it's really
right.
about who you know, and they play favorites, and it's
Totally.
not about how long you put because you'll be there volunteering for 10, 20 years, and you'll never get a
Exactly.
job there.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
but it was cool because I got to work with people like Garth Trinidad, who's
Hmm.
a great music guy here in LA, and this guy
Hmm.
Eric J. Lawrence, who was the music
Hmm.
supervisor in the station at the time. And these people
Nice.
were just a wealth of knowledge. I
Hmm.
learned about bands
Yeah.
like The Fall and
Yeah.
all types of
Hmm.
stuff. I learned about
Yeah.
Captain Beefheart and all types of
Yeah.
cool stuff
Yeah.
from working at KCRW. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't regret that. It's just that,
Hmm.
for me to get into music or get into writing or journalism, I kind of had to do
Hmm.
it myself with the whole stage press. You,
Right.
you kind of have to like do it yourself, create an
Totally.
opportunity for yourself, you know what I mean? Because
You're
if
right.
you
You're
wait
right.
for someone else to create it for you, it ain't never going to happen a lot
You're
of
right.
times.
You're right. So, Michael, are you writing? Are you endeavoring to write a book or anything? Or have you written a book?
No, maybe down the line, for my travels and stuff. Honestly, as I turn into 50 and get older, I really want to live overseas and experience either
Hmm.
living in Europe. I got a couple
Hmm.
friends in Germany,
Hmm.
friends in Lisbon and Portugal. I do want to, I don't know about retiring forever there, but I want to live
Hmm.
there like for a
Hmm.
10-year, like I've been living in LA
Hmm.
for 15, 16 years. I do
Okay.
want to live overseas or live out of the country for a
Okay.
while and then probably
Okay.
write a book of it all,
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
So,
So you've traveled. You have been overseas.
yes, I have. Actually, that's
Yeah.
my job. I'm in travel.
Oh,
I'm a
okay.
corporate
Okay.
travel agent. That's my day job.
Oh, nice.
And also work in entertainment travel. I work with
Wow.
Amazon Prime
Wow. That's
movies.
interesting.
Yeah, and on
Wow.
Amazon Prime TV series, booking their artist travel
Nice.
actors. Yeah, so that's what I
Very
do is
cool.
travel.
Very cool. Wow.
Yeah, yeah. But
Mhm.
so any upcoming 2023 festivals, anything noteworthy
Well,
TV shows you might be going to be on or projects?
I don't have anything like that. And Michael, in all honesty, I'm at a point where it's like I have to decide what, how, and what to do publicly next year because this year I only did a couple of gigs. I played one festival solo, and then I played a few shows with bands with RAF and David Nance.
And they went on
And
tour, right? David Nance.
right, and I
Mhm.
didn't, and so I kind of lost my position in the band because I don't want to tour. So I'm going to be on the David Nance has a new album coming out next year. I can't tell you the label, but it's a label that everybody knows, and I'm excited that I'm going to be on this record. So I'm going to be on the record, but he had to get a young guy to tour. Okay, so what I'm saying is, I do know that I have enough. I don't know what the word is, but if I decide that I want to do something here, I can probably do it that way. And so I'm thinking about at least one show in 2023 in relation to my album, but I don't want to call it an album release show, but probably more like a stage presentation of my music that will incorporate this new stuff, which I'm really proud of. And it really is stronger than Future Still.
So it's going to be like a showcase of sorts.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about putting together. I have a couple of places in mind. One is it like a art studio, another is a theater. But also because I'm an alumnus of the Bemis Art Center, I can apply for grants and funding. And so, see, I'm kind of thinking about, a project, because when the drummer left, that was like my main, I love playing with that band, okay? And so for a minute, I was trying to put my band Chemicals back together. I thought we had a drummer, and then that didn't happen, and then it was just getting frustrating, okay? So then I'm kind of back to just recording at home and playing with RAF when I can, okay? So what I'm saying is, looking at 2023, besides my main solo release I know is coming up, I'm going to be on the next Mana Mirage album, the Muffins guy. Yeah, I'm going to be on that. See, I should have written this down. I know I have at least one other. Oh, RAF. We finally finished our album. We're waiting for the test pressings to arrive in January. So I know we're going to be doing an album release for that with Tim coming back. I'm excited about that because the album is really good.
How many years has it been since the last RAF record?
Well, see, it's just such a story. I could tell, man, I could talk for quite a long time just about the story of RAF, because it's unusual, okay?
Okay.
It's an unusual story. So when I first got involved with the band, I'm like 10, 15 years older than the rest of the band, okay?
Yeah.
And I got involved because the singer was a patient in the mental hospital I worked at.
Oh,
and
wow.
Yes, I started when it. Okay, can I just tell you a little bit about it? Okay.
Okay. Yeah, dude. I have time. Go ahead, please.
Oh, okay.
Please go ahead.
So it's okay because you're not supposed to fraternize with your patients. And I knew that. Okay. I just need to explain that this kid in the hospital on the adolescent unit, he was hyper, and I noticed that, but it was intelligent as hell. But the other thing that we bonded about in the hospital was I caught him talking about music, caught my attention. We started talking, and it was like, you know what I'm saying? Okay. Then I started running into him at the punk shows. Okay. When he got out, it was like he was like transitioning from like 14 to 15. And next thing you know, I'm seeing him at all the shows, Black Flag, or DRI, Effigies,
Yeah.
We need a bass player. And I said, man, get away from me. I can't be doing nothing with you, But then at one of the shows, he introduced me to the guitar player. And that made the difference. It's like, there was something about the guy, okay? Okay. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is that was back in the 80s. And so I had a 4-track cassette machine in my basement. And so we recorded our cassette, These Days of Tears. I got it right here. Just a second. The original band, These Days of Tears. I recorded this in my basement. Same place I recorded No Effects in my basement also. Same place, okay? So anyway, I documented the band's original set, and that happened back in 86, okay? Well, the band has never been organized like a regular band. You know, we're punks. We live and then we play, then we play. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when recently it was like we had a renaissance about 10 years ago. The lead singer of the band ended up in prison, so that was over. And then some of our biggest fans approached us about 10 years ago and said, you know, we'd really like to see REF, and can we be in REF? And so that was the second wave, and the band is even better than it was before. And so as a result, it's like we were always on the cusp of not existing. Okay. So it's like, yeah, so it's like we got to get this latest batch of, and it's a bunch of new songs that the new guys brought that are really good. So it took us almost 3 years to get this album recorded. So finally, it's been madness. There's been a lot of mental health issues and all kinds of madness. This band truly is a band of punk misfit brothers. I love these guys so much, but it's never been like a regularly organized band where you have, you know, things organized, you know, and that's the beauty of it. I think that's partially why we're so powerful. We kick people's asses all the time in shows.
Not to cut you off, and for some reason, I'm thinking that mental health topic is an issue that other bands go through. Obviously, suicidal tendencies. You know what I mean?
Man.
You know, Mike Mirren.
I can tell you stories.
It's just a common topic. You know,
it's very common, and it goes along with artistry and being in art mind. Have you heard of the East Coast band Warzone?
Absolutely, New York hardcore. Absolutely, come on,
man. When they came to Omaha, all these motherfucking skinheads came out for the show. Okay,
great.
But the deal was, they're a great band. But the deal was, the bass player is mentally ill. The guy who organized the show knew who I was. I come to the show. I don't care about the Nazi punks. Fuck them. I want to see Warzone. So I'm out at the show, and the promoter comes and says, "By the way, man, Dereck, I'm glad you're here. Really need you." The bass player, he was schizophrenic and he was out of meds, so he was psychotic and not doing well. They didn't know if he was going to be able to play the show. So I was able to help him pull it together enough to play the show. Okay.
Wow.
But at the show, check it out. So I'm behind the scenes with the band. Then here's the show. I come out to be a part of the show, and all of a sudden this faction of the audience squares up like they're going to jump me. But guess what happened? Warzone and the rest of the audience said, "Fuck you, motherfuckers!" Pow, pow, sent them bitches packing.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's just one story. Okay,
there you go.
I can tell you the story about helping Jock from GBH get over being a racist.
Right.
I got stories, man. Yeah. You know, I love the world music and mental health and the whole idea, the connection between social issues, racism. It's all completely rolled into my experience of music altogether. So actually, the more I think about it, the fact that you have talked to some of these important Black musicians, I had to try to follow up and try to get with some of those guys.
I mean, there's a lot more, you know, like Doug Pinnick from King's X, you know, I would love to chat with him, you know, so many cats, you know, out there, you know, that are still alive, still touring, you know, that I would love to do interview.
I'd love to take on the cat from Death Grips. I think I could get him.
Yeah, Death Grips, man, one of my favorites right now. And
I think I could get him. I think I could get him to talk. You know what I'm saying?
MC Ride, that's who he is. Yep. MC Ride, yeah. I've been lucky enough to see them a couple of times. I saw them with Ministry, and I seen them at a festival here in LA, and they're coming actually again next year. But yeah, I like Death Grips a lot, man. Kind of doing like an industrial, you know, hip hop, you know, and a very, very, you know, mysterious, you know, story.
I love it.
You know, you kind of like always want to hear more about them. You know, very, very intriguing story about that group, especially the drummer, you know, Zach Wild.
Zach from Hella.
Zach. And you know, just to go back into like whole the racism and punk rock and all that scene, it's like it's interesting because a lot of the, you know, the punk rockers were the ones that got me into the hardcore reggae, that got me into like, you know, the underground
Yep.
hip hop. They were the ones that knew about King Tubby
Yeah.
and all the real dub cats. You know what I mean? They're the ones that
Yeah.
hit me to that. So
You're right.
for it to be back then, for them not, you know, for the racism to exist, it's just like, come
Mhm.
on, you know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
like we're all
Yeah.
one. You talk to Don Letts, we're all one.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was all, you
Exactly.
know,
Exactly.
it was
Exactly. It just
never a
don't make no sense.
separation. It was never a
Never.
separation. You know,
Never. It's just, yeah.
how, not to
It's,
cut you off, and how I got
yeah.
into Slayer was,
Yes.
you know, back in the day, I would see Def Jam on their cassettes, their Rain and Blood
Exactly.
and Death and
Exactly.
South of Heaven cassettes. I was like, these guys on a Def Jam, and then to
Right.
go cross verse to that Public Enemy, they sampled Rain and Blood riffs on, you know, the early
Yep.
Public Enemy albums. So
Exactly.
it's
Exactly.
always just been one. We've always been just one music
Always
and
been
one,
one.
and it's never been separate. You
I
know,
agree.
that's what
I
people don't
agree.
realize, you know?
They don't realize that. They don't
Yeah.
realize that. And I'll tell you what, I've been one of the few here in the Midwest representing. When I met the guy who made the film Afro Punk, have you seen that?
Oh yeah, we talked about that last time. The first interview.
Yeah,
We talked
yeah.
about
When I
Afropunk.
finally
We
met
talked
him, he
briefly
said,
about that. Yeah.
yeah, he said, I don't know how I missed you, man. We were supposed to be in the damn movie. Now that I heard your story, you know.
Absolutely, you're supposed to be in it, man. And there's probably
Yeah,
a lot of people out there like you. You know what I mean? Like
I've been, yeah,
Orlando. Yeah, like that band
yeah,
Black
Orlando,
Death,
yeah,
from
we finally
from
hooked up.
Cleveland. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good. Yeah,
yeah, we finally hooked up. Yeah,
that's good, man. So
yeah.
yeah, man, it was good talking to you, dude. I don't want to hold you too long, but I'm glad we got to catch up. And
Thank you. It's
I'm gonna
about the
send this
time
over
because
to
my
you.
body is saying it's about that time to go. You know what I mean?
I understand that, and you know, I have a good holiday, and it was great catching up with you, man. Have a great
Thank you.
one.
At any time, Michael. Okay.
Definitely, I'll be, you know, checking
Okay.
the videos out and touching base with you for sure.
Sounds good. Happy holidays.
You too. Bye.
All right. Bye bye.